Somebody's doing the poo. Welcome to the Please Subscribe show, kitty. Yeah, just slinging around everywhere.
Just one by the Home Depot. There you go. Bye.
Well, they got the nacho pizza for $1 racetrack. Well, we got one at Shipley Donuts. We're gonna pick up the not Shitley, but Shipley Donuts. We're gonna pick it up and drop it off right at your doorstep. Headed in a little place called Saginaw. That one there is called the Atterbury grains. Every one of them's got a name. Look at that. It's called Greens, or actually, it's actually called Juniors. But it says Greens on the side. Pretty cool one. Probably older too. There it is. I turned the wrong way. It's either 50-50, you know? So that's Shipley's. All right, got it.
Indeed you do.
It's actually a red caboose. It's pretty cool. The train actually says D and R GW, and it's grand. Probably an antique train. It goes red, yellow, and then green right there. See how I feel about rock and roll albums. It's the same way Mark Kozalik feels and Sunkill Moon is. You only should spend a couple months on an album, a month, maybe even a week, and that's your album because it's a set. See, Critter thinks the same thing. So it's your album is just like a set that you can play. You know, 5, 10 songs at the most. You know. Even The Wall, Pink Floyd The Wall, they can still play all those songs back to back in a set. That's how good they are. But if you're a type of musician where you're basically making an album and it takes 2 years to make the album, I don't know. I think there's something weird going on. Like you're trying to only get hits only, or, you know, it shouldn't take you 2 years to do a set, you know. But everyone's got their own, you know, opinion on what an album should be.
While vlogging,
that's a long
remember,
time to make an
when you're
album.
vlogging, BS is very good.
It's just how you see it. I mean, it took 5 years for David Lynch to make Eraserhead. It took 12 years for Linkletter to make Boyhood. Of course, the kids actually grew up in the movie. I guess I couldn't hold you back and say, Mark Kozolic from Sun Kill Moon is correct, but if it takes you 2 years to make an album, then, I guess so. But how I feel is that a real good album, or an album that, is true, it shouldn't take maybe a week at the most, maybe a month at the most, to tweak it and get it right. And then that's your album. I just don't see why anybody would work on an album for 2 years. Everything's illegal. Unleashed beagles, smoking the legal, burning the eagle. That right there says North Houston. And I was always told to stay away from Houston. A mime told me that. Now, how I feel about a song is, I think a song, you should know the song well. You should be able to play the song almost about the same each time. So it should sound somewhat the same when you play it, a little bit, but don't tell Bob Dylan that. But ultimately, you should be able to recall the song and the lyrics. Now, you probably are going to forget some songs along the way, but it's not something you can't brush up after maybe a few hours of study. And then once you're able to reproduce that song live in front of people, then you got yourself a song. And you'll probably play it, could be 1,000 times. You don't really have a number on it until you really know the song and the song is yours. It's something that you don't ever forget. And that's what makes it a song. And that's pretty much what makes it a song. They got fried chicken and tacos right there. When it comes down to McDonald's breakfast, people go ape shit. Hey, for lunch though, they got the chicken that's crispy, juicy, and tender. Yeah, just the burger.
I got
Thanks.
$2.59 in the fresh one. Thank you.
So just the burger. I'm listening to Slint right now. The song is called Washer. It's amazing the different types of music that's out there on the airwaves. Of course, they're probably not played on the radio any longer, but I've probably listened to a mix album of Slint, I don't know, throughout the day many times, because for one thing, they don't make a lick of sense, and that's what I like about them. Some of the lyrics, there's moments where you're like, okay, is this about some story or something, like maybe a book or something that I missed out on? But the way they compose the music together is just completely erratic and nonsensical. It's just the greatest stuff ever. Why they broke up, probably because they just couldn't take it anymore. But they were real famous at the time, and some people believe that they're actually one of the best bands of all time. Oh, you can use Apple or Google. Yep. Perfect. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. There we go. All right. So like I say, you know, McDonald's actually does the packaging the best. And in this kind of business, really, they're the best at what they do. And not the most healthy, of course, but I got myself a little burger for $2. I don't really need to show you the receipt, but it's a $2 burger. It's got cheese on it and double patties. And well, I guess I'll go ahead and let you. I'll let you see me eat it. Look at that plane right there. I mean, just because I know you're waiting to see. Hang on, just give me a second. Kind of a little difficult to do because if I don't do it, then you don't get to see anything. This is what it looks like. It's about $2. Got something bacon double, which I don't think they put any bacon on it, but that's okay. This is what it looks like. I really know a whole lot about Slint, but I do know that they're from Kentucky, and I really like their kind of Toolish kind of songs. Sounds kind of like Tool a little bit, but not really. And they kind of talk. And oh, there's a squirrel. It's got a nut right there. He's looking at some other things right there. He's kind of a tree. He's probably trying to get to the tree. Kind of hanging out there. Oh, he's got something right there. Oh, he's burying it. Yeah, he's burying the nut right there. Oh, gotta go. He's burying a nut in the ground. I've never seen them do that before. They actually do it. They'll bury the nut and hide it and come back and get it later. This little house. Remember that movie with Sam Shepard called Raggedy Man? I'm gonna look at this house. Well, Slint kind of started off as kind of like a joke band, but they named the band after a fish that was in an aquarium. It was like a pet fish, and the fish's name was Slint, and they're from Kentucky. Unfortunately, they broke up, but they're all like these young kids. One of them was like messing around in a van or something like that, and they were on the side of the highway or something, and they were messing around with the equipment. Or anyway, he got out of the van, which you don't ever want to do on the highway, got struck by a freaking car, broke his hip, threw him way far. Should have killed him, really, but he survived it and went back to, finished up the tour that season. He was able to finish up playing that year, but it broke his like hip and everything. But they don't know how fast the car was going. There's rumors that the car was going 50. There's rumors the car was going 15, you know. But nobody knows because there was no footage of it. Some of these neighborhoods are very rare. Like you got this thing right here. Like what in the world is this? There's a bunch of pylons. In the background, you got like a bunch of reservoir dogs, and they're talking about a deal. And who knows what's all over, this area right here. I have no idea really where I'm at. And earlier I was listening to Slint, which is a band about a fish in an aquarium. And I think they're a pretty good band. But I have no explanation why. Can't explain it. Somehow they became real famous toward the south. They're from Kentucky. But they're probably better than Metallica. They're a really good band. They don't do solos though. They don't do a lot of solos. But the guy kind of talks, sings, and it's a cool band. Check them out. S-L-I-N-T. Slint. They're from Kentucky. They broke up a long time ago, but you can find them all over YouTube. I think I'm gonna go this way. I'll find it eventually, then I'll drop it off at your doorstep. Food for friends. Place that I'm headed to right now, it's known as the Biscuit Bar. I wonder if they serve biscuits. Well, if you're gonna get some Mexican food, you might as well get it at McDonalds. Really the area where I met Willie Nelson, and I'm real proud because a lot of people have not shook Willie Nelson's hand. I have. I was fortunate enough to be in the right situation. I didn't know how many people seek after Willie Nelson and his music. To be honest, when it went down, I was the least Willie Nelson fan possible. I listen to him sometimes. I think it's cool he hung out with Johnny Cash. I'm more of a Johnny Cash fan myself, and I'd probably listen to George Strait before I'd listen to Willie Nelson. But I don't have any problems with him in his new stages of his life, because he worked with Dustin Hoffman and Wag the Dog, made some really good music in his later days. I think I'm more of a fan of Willie Nelson now than early day Willie Nelson, but I just, On the Road Again was something we were required to sing in school, and I always kind of looked at him as just like, stereotypical country and western music. But when I find out he's actually not, he's actually a unique artist, and his son has a really cool band called Particle Boy, which they're very unique and kind of punk. Because back in the day when I met him, I was more into like punk rock and alternative music and, the Smiths, and I think I was wearing a Smith shirt when I met him. But he was still pretty nice, and for some reason he showed a lot of respect to us as kids. And the Fort Worth Star-Telegram was there and things like that. Every single one of these guys wearing cowboy hats. But I was never a big fan of cowboys, and I was more of a fan of the Indian, the Native American and stuff, like the wild ones, not the ones that like to press down and have all these regulations. Not that cowboys are really that way. But one of the songs I do like is that one that goes, "Mama, don't tell your babies grow up to be cowboys." That one's actually a pretty good one. It's got a good message. Make them be lawyers and doctors and saints. And this is New Isis right here, but we're about to pass where Billy Bob's. Actually, we did pass Billy Bob's, so I wouldn't be able to show you the area. It was in like a back alley. There was a big tour bus. So Star-Telegram was there. He's got a real high security. So not anyone can just walk up and shake Willie Nelson's hands. And that's not what we did. We had to wait. It was with the... I actually did. I walked up to Willie Nelson in his tour van and shook his hand. Fort Worth Star-Telegram was there too and got photos. I wasn't in the photo, but I was in the write-up of that article about Willie Nelson and the Farmers back in 1993. It happened behind a Billy Bob's. So I met Willie Nelson and shook his hand. Sorry, I'm editing right now. The Fort Worth Star-Telegram is who we were with. But the reporters were there, and it was a very strange situation, because I never met anyone famous before. I guess he was the first famous person I ever met, face to face. But it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I didn't know he had a son now that has a rock band. Oh, and by the way, I'm wearing my appropriate t-shirt. Miracle on 34th Street. Called Particle Boy. They just played out at a place called The Luck, which is a ranch. The Luck Ranch is what they call it. Somewhere in here is what's called the Biscuit Bar. Might have already passed it around here somewhere. But, he was kind of the person that he didn't really care, It wasn't that big of a deal. But it was legendary. It was like meeting Elvis or something. It really was. We just didn't realize it because of our choice in music. But, if Elvis was there, I probably wouldn't have cared either. I dislike Elvis more than I did Willie Nelson. I'm the furthest away from being an Elvis fan known to earth. Like, I have no interest in any of. The only song I like about Elvis is the only song I like connected to Elvis. I don't think I'm gonna find the Biscuit Bar, but we'll find it eventually. I don't want to piss off any Elvis fans. I'm gonna circle around right here. This place is kind of nerve-wracking because people just don't even pay attention to any of the drivers at all, but they don't really pay attention to the people either. It's a real weird place, but the only Elvis song that I like is Suspicious Minds. I think that's a good one. Every other Elvis song, I can't even stand listening to Elvis, not even for a second. Willie, I could stand. I mean, I you know, it's like I like On the Road Again, and I like the other one, the Cowboy song. But I had no idea why I was even meeting the guy. I was just doing the play, you know. Everybody else was like, "God, it's Willie Nelson." Everyone's flipping out. I did shake his hand though. He was pretty nice. But like I said, I didn't like country music at all. And really today, I really don't like country music even today. I like some country music, but very rarely do I think there's even really a good country song. But he's a legendary. When it comes to country music, he's about as legendary as all of them. Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson. But we met an icon that day, so it was a pretty big deal. Didn't get a photo or an autograph, but I did get a write-up in the Fort Worth Star Telegram, which is probably better. But I had no interest at all. You know, we had to do it. You know, it's like, you're gonna meet Willie Nelson. He's kind of my drama teacher, like, pretty much. This is part of the play. We're using his music in the play. I don't know. I mean, I guess he wanted to get special permission to use Willie Nelson music. We didn't really need it because, really, to be honest, and when you're doing a high school play, you can use any music you want. There's a law, as long as it's educational, then you can use whatever song you want. It's a copyright law. I've looked it up in the library. So if you're doing an educational piece, then you don't need a license for a copyright. If it's connected to an educational, like, endeavor, I guess you could say. You do if it's going to be connected to profiteering or making money off of it, which we did charge for the play. So I guess in a way it kind of was a catch-22 situation because we did charge admission, and I guess he let us use the music. But I don't know, meeting him, I don't think you can't just use musicians' music. You can if you get special permission. But anyway, that was kind of the reason. There's the Biscuit Bar right there.